Hello dear class 9th, welcome to first term. Children, in this video we are going to start with Act 2 Scene 1. Now Act 2 Scene 1 focuses on Belmont. It's a room in Portia's house. There are flourish of cornets and you'll find who enters in the scene. The Prince of Morocco and his train, Portia, Nerissa and other of her attendants. Now, Prince of Morocco is a character who is a warrior and self-assured man. He has a large, imposing physical appearance and is very proud of his dark complexion. Okay, you'll find him saying some words about himself where he proudly speaks about his courage and conquest too in the opening lines. You'll find that Prince of Morocco is an egoist. Okay, he's such a person who thinks that he is better than other people. He is quite boastful of his red blood and his valor in war, and he declares that he would change his color to win over Portia. But then he ultimately comes to a point that the Lordship casket has no consideration for his heroism. Okay, it is a play of fortune which could be won over even by an undeserving candidate. That's what he thinks of, right? So you'll find that Portia is portrayed as a very polite and a very diplomatic lady over here in this scene. She makes no comments about the complexion of Prince of Morocco, but places him with all other suitors and remains non-committal, right? Now in the opening scenes, you'll find how proud and boastful Morocco is. He says, "Mislike me not for my complexion, the shadowed livery of the burnished sun, to whom I am a neighbor and the near bred. Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus' fires cast thaws and icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine. I tell thee, lady, this aspect of mine hath feared the valiant. By my love, I swear the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. I have not chained this hue, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen." So, Morocco speaks about his complexion in these lines. He tells Portia that she should not dislike him because of his dark complexion. That's why he says, "Do not mislike me not for my complexion." So do not dislike me because of my dark complexion. The shadowed livery of the burnished sun. Shadowed means the dark, livery means the uniform which he wears, that is the skin which he has of the burnished sun. The burnished sun is due to that he's a neighbor, and his neighbor, or he's exposed to the hot sun, to whom I am a neighbor and a close relative. He means to say that he belongs to an equatorial country which is closer to the sun. That is how his dark complexion is. But then he says, "Bring me the fairest creature northward born, where Phoebus' fires cast thaws the icicles, and let us make incision for your love, to prove whose blood is reddest, his or mine." Morocco says that, "But though I belong to equatorial region, equatorial country, so I am dark complexioned. But bring me the fairest creature northward born." He says, "Bring me the fairest man born in the north, where the sun rays," Phoebus refers to, Phoebus is actually the sun god. So over here, the Phoebus fire refers to the rays of the sun. He says, "Bring the fairest creature, fairest man born in the north, where the rays of the sun hardly reaches the surface to melt the ice." Okay, then let us make incision. And what does he want? That to prove that whose blood is reddest, he wants that an incision or cutting on their skin should be made. Okay, he wants that let us inflict cuts on our respective bodies in proof of our love for you and show whose blood is redder, the northerners or mine. Then he tells, I tell the lady this aspect of mine. He says, let me tell you, lady, this appearance of mine hath feared the valiant. I have such an appearance. My appearance has put to fear many courageous men. Valiant refers to courageous men. He says, by my love I swear the best regarded virgins of our clime have loved it too. He says, I swear by my love for you that even the most estimable maidens, the suitable maidens, the noblest maidens of our clime refers to land, of my place, of my land, of my country, have also loved it. Okay, I would not change this hue. He says that I would not give up this complexion of mine, except to steal your thoughts, my gentle queen. I would definitely change this hue to steal your thoughts, means to impress you, except to win your heart. I will not change this hue. I can change this hue only to steal your thoughts, my dear lady, my gentle queen. Then Portia says, in terms of choice, I am not solely led by nice direction of a maiden's eyes, besides the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. But if my father had not scanted me and hedged me by his wit, to yield myself, his wife who wins me by that means, I told you, yourself, renowned prince, then stood as fair as any comer I have looked on yet for my affection. So Portia, gives a very diplomatic answer to him. She says, in matter of selecting her husband, I am not solely led, means I am not guided. I am not entirely guided or moved by nice direction of a maiden's eyes. Nice direction of maiden eyes refers to I am not solely guided by the fancy of maiden's eyes or the appearance which attracts the young lady. Like, it's not my choice. Like, if I like somebody, I will accept him as my husband. No, it's not my choice. Besides, the lottery of my destiny bars me the right of voluntary choosing. She says, besides, the lottery designed by my father, lottery of my destiny refers to the lottery designed by my father, bars me, prevents me from choosing a man of my liking. Voluntary choosing means from choosing a husband of my desire. But if my father had not scanted me, what is scanted me? If my father had not limited me, scanted means limited me and hedged me by his wit and stopped me or bounded me by his wisdom to yield myself, okay, his wife who wins me by that means, I told you that if he had not bounded me by this lottery which his wisdom has devised, stating that I must marry him whoever wins me by the method I have told you, then he says, if not famous prince, you would have had then stood as fair as any comer. She means to say that if he had not made it obligatory on me that I could only marry the person who would rightly fulfill that test, that lottery casket test, you would have as good a chance of winning me as any person whom I have seen up till now coming to me for my love.